Okay, welcome back, guys. In today's video, I want to talk about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of FUD going on, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I wanted just to get some of these things over, right? So because there's obviously yesterday we saw a massive flash crash and all sorts and this and that, and there are multiple assumptions being made, and then there are a whole bunch of idiots out there who are saying, "Oh, imminent breakout," as if basically Bitcoin's about to do a breakout. So let's get the bigger picture about exactly what's happened. And this whole thing actually is a bigger picture. It's not just about yesterday. It's not about day before yesterday. It's pretty much leading up to the 14th of April, right? So there's a lot going on up to the 14th of April. So number one, we see Coinbase listing going up until on the 14th of April. And we see a whole bunch of, bullishness going on. Oh, Coinbase is going to do that. And the fact is Coinbase doesn't impact the Bitcoin at all. But you have a bunch of idiots who end up pumping the market, which is okay. It's not a problem, right? As long as people took profits, right? So the point is the market was pumped all the way to close to, I think we were like $100 away from $65,000. So market gets pumped, Coinbase lists, nothing interesting. People realize, oh my God, it's nothing. And then what happened, some of the early investors of Coinbase, obviously they dumped it on the retail as usual. So the retail got burned, right? Very simple. That's exactly what would happen, right? They basically sold you some news, all right? And then once you entered the market, you got burned. So obviously everybody needs to understand the first cycle. You don't enter the market on the first cycle. And Coinbase Effect literally did it with its own Coinbase listing. That's number one news, right? So obviously you have to understand the market's moving towards that. Then we had the recent Dogecoin, which was the most stupid move on the planet, right? Again, pump. And then they killed about 30 billion out of the market. Now, I told you, all the viewers on this channel, I told you how Dogecoin could massively have a negative effect on the whole crypto market. And this is pretty much what happened. I mean, you have 30 billion of retail money wiped out, 30 plus billion actually. It does impact the market. And then you see all sorts of other crappy shit coins as well pumping. So they, today I was going to release a video regarding Michael Saylor. I found a lost video of Michael Saylor. So I was going to release that. And I stopped it. I said, you know what? There's no point. And even Michael Saylor calls them shit coins. I mean, if you just hear the interview, you'll be shocked, right? He literally calls it shit coins as well. And this is what it is. So there's a bigger picture going on in here. A lot of people think like as soon as some of these really crappy shit coins, and what I'm talking about shit coins, like literally, let's go to coin market cap and I'll show you what I mean, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? Some of these coins, they have zero hope, right? Of coming back. Like for example, Bitcoin Cash, the highest price, 4,355. Now, a lot of people don't know a secret about this particular price. It wasn't the all-time high. This price was the launch price. This is what it launched at on day one when it released. It never went back there. So does this have any hope? It doesn't. It could go close to 50% probably because idiots, but the fact is it's got no hope. I mean, Bitcoin SV, which came out just recently, right? Very short time. This has more chance of doing something because this wasn't the launch price. This actually created this high. So when you have a coin that never created this, it was the launch price, right? And it dumped from that point. It never went back. It never recovered. That has no market structure, right? Bitcoin SV has more of a market structure. So there are certain things you have to understand. There are fundamentals. I mean, we do have all-time highs and then bouncing back down. Those are different, right? All the coins. I mean, there are many coins here. I've actually made a long list of about 20 different coins and I'm going to filter them because I am making a video very soon about what to invest in over the next 5 years because I've had a very good question. I said, you know what? I'm going to put all of those there. Right, but what a lot of people have to understand, there's so much more going on, and people are focusing on individual stuff. So some people will talk about Coinbase pump, some people will talk about Dogecoin pump, and there's too much either nonsense, fake news, or news that they have no idea what they're talking about, or there's too much fear, uncertainty, and doubt. One after the other. Now, someone, I was just when I was preparing to make this video, someone actually sent a message and they said something regarding the flash crash was created by US Treasury charging several financial institutions with money laundering using crypto. Now, a news like that, I mean, comes out and, you know, someone's obviously spreading the rumor. The only thing we do know, right, is there's one company accused, technically a financial institution, right, which was Bittrex, regarding the tether. And everyone knows about the tether fight. It's been going on for donkey's years, right? You know, they've been saying how billionaires are laundering money through the tether system, right? And Bittrex has been taken to court regarding all of this. And the drama's still going on. The case is still going on, right? Because, I mean, you're literally printing dollars out of the ether, right? This is not my word, by the way. This is exactly what Michael Saylor said as well, right? You're printing dollars from nowhere, but then you're not even providing the evidence that you have the one-to-one dollar to back it up. But ultimately, crypto doesn't care about that, right? As long as crypto can go in and use this as a means to an end, so use Tether to buy Bitcoin, nobody really cares, right? Because ultimately you're holding the asset. As far as you're concerned, as a retail or as an institution, you just bought your Bitcoin. So this FUD has been going on for a very long time. Now, who else has been using it? God knows, right? But if that's what's going on, if they're being illegal, who cares? How does that impact us? If US Treasury is going to be charging financial institutions, probably banks, probably other, you know, companies that deal with money, if they've been laundering money, well, they deserve to be shut down. So how does that impact us? Because what's the US Treasury going to do? Dump the Bitcoin? No, right? So come on, understand these kind of things. So there are partial truth to it, and there are mostly nothing to it, right? Because this is what a lot of people don't understand. It doesn't affect us. Like recently we had the Turkey ban nonsense. Well, Turkey didn't ban anything, right? Turkey said the payment processors have to justify. But there's a good news out of that. Turkey actually, for the first time in history of cryptocurrency, acknowledged there is a cryptocurrency and says, well, show us the paperwork. Show us how we can work with this. Right? And only payment processors got blocked. But guess who else is blocked? US dollar. So those same payment processors are not allowed to use US dollars either. What they're saying is keep the money within ourselves, right? We're afraid that lira, the Turkish lira, may not be relevant. We don't want people to buy goods without the lira. We don't want people to buy it with USDT or or cryptocurrency. And even if they are, then show us. But it's only international money that's being stopped. The local banks in Turkey have no issues. You can still do money transfer as normal, except without the payment processor. So from your bank, you're fine. So the bigger picture was something else, right? But, you know, people take something so small and make it so large. So that's what was going on, right? Now, somebody just before I was actually about to make this, yes, they have posted an article regarding the China situation, and let me explain what's going on, right? So there's a lot more going on. So last whole week, I'm not sure if you know, in the Philippines, in a few other countries around Asia, basically, there have been many flash floods and this and that. So it's not a flash crash, but understand where I'm coming from, right? Indonesia, floods and all of that disruption, right? So a lot of natural disasters have been happening, and it's pretty much normal around this time of the year, where you have all the snow and whatnot melt and come down the mountain and gushing down. And this is what happens. And then obviously you've got like dams and whatnot. There's a lot of other crazy stuff going on, but I don't want to get into too much detail, right? But let me talk about China, what's happened. So I don't know how many people know. I mean, globally, obviously, you know, we run many nodes, right? We run many nodes. And in the nodes, we have, so the biggest nodes, 4 of the biggest mining nodes on the planet, right, is F2 Pool, Antpool, BTC.com, and Poolin, right? These are the 4 largest in the world. Those 4 pretty much account for, I think, almost 50% of the global market. So they're big, trust me, but they're also smart. And I'll tell you why they're so big and so smart. They don't have one mining facility. They have multiple mining facilities, and they usually move around the mining facilities, right? Because of seasonal changes. So for example, most of them would be around the area of Sichuan, right, where they got hydroelectricity during the rain season. So it rains a lot, and they can get low, cheap electricity, and they'll use that in Sichuan. Whenever Sichuan dries up, then what do? They move away, right? And this is exactly what happened. And they moved away, and they went to Jiangxi, Jingzhuan, Guangzhou, right? So those kind of provinces, right? This is where they went to, and they started using coal mining, right? Again, they're looking for cheap electricity. Sadly, because of weather and all sorts of other crazy stuff, there was a massive coal mine accident, right? Where actually there was a case where I believe 10 people died and 21 people are stuck, still stuck inside the mines. And that kind of put a halt, and there was power shortages. Once the power shortages came in, obviously the biggest power hungry machine out there is Bitcoin. It was impacted heavily. So a lot of the miners, they shut it down, right? So, you know, between four of them, they lost about 86% of the share of the global hash rate. 86% of the global hash rate. I mean, that's just crazy, right? They lost that. I mean, there was like, I think it was like 35 petabyte, oh sorry, exahash, sorry, 35 exahash from the ecosystem just vanished just like that. I'll put a little image, I'll add a little image here later because I've got some images. I'll add one later so you can see what's happened. But again, us looking back from the past, it's not the first time. This has happened in 2017 as well. So again, people are mixing it up. It's just no point, like all this FUD, no point. I'll tell you a funny fact. The beautiful thing about Bitcoin, the way it was designed, right? So obviously, when everybody listens to 35 exahash is gone, 86% of the mining power lost, Bitcoin miners shut down, you know, big impactful headlines probably. The fact is completely different, right? Bitcoin was designed in such a way that you could switch off every single miner and it does not affect the profitability or the mining capacity. The only difference that happens is the miner is limited to how many. So let me explain this very simply. Up to last week, or even this week, right, they were mining 900 Bitcoins per day. Well, guess what? We lost 35 exahashes and now they're mining 700 a day. So because the capacity is lower, the hash rate dropped, right? And, you know, the network slowed down. This is what the hash rate does. It just makes it more faster. So instead of mining it every 10 minutes, it's mining it every 13 minutes or something, right? It could be even lower. It doesn't matter. It could even do it every 30 minutes. I mean, I'll happily take every 30 minutes over 10 minutes because that means there are less and less Bitcoins being mined. So there's a positive thing out there, but nobody's looking at that. Right? Everybody wants more Bitcoin. What I want less Bitcoins to be mined every day, right? It's actually a lot more healthier for us to have less Bitcoins. So there are crazy stuff going on, but ultimately, listen, all of this news, everything that's coming out, it doesn't affect any of the capacity. I mean, we had what? Currently, we've got about 128 to 129 exahash per second being mined, right? We're down from what, 165 exahash? That's nothing. We just lost 35 exahash. And I'm talking per second, all right? And Bitcoin will adapt. I mean, this is the beauty. Check this out. If all the top miners out there, and they are kind of like corporations, if they all switch their miners off, guess what? You and I could switch on our laptops and start mining Bitcoin. And they don't want that. Because remember, they control everything. So it's not China. I'm talking about miners, right? You know, they've invested millions and millions of dollars of equipment to mine it for their own profitability. And these guys are making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a day. So why on earth would they want to basically kind of go ahead and, you know, stop their services? They're not, right? In fact, even with China, with this coal issue, I remember I said they have multiple locations. So weather permitted and electricity permitted or whatever, even today, they might even switch it on. These guys could literally switch on the other sites within 24 hours, right? Remember, all these ant miners, this miner, that miner, all these ASIC miners, they come from China. They produce it there. They got no import export duty when they produce it there. So do you think these guys don't have the machines? Trust me, they have more machines than you can imagine. You know, in fact, they're probably, and it's true, this it's not they're probably, they do. A lot of the mining facilities actually sell their second-hand mining equipment to Europe and America and whatnot and this and that. There's a second-hand. These are old stuff. So China is always using the latest quality stuff, and they have multiple locations. So they just activate whichever one's profitable for them. Right, so it's a big operation. You have to understand, this is how they manage to be the biggest in the world, right? 4 of the biggest miners are in China, and all 4 of them do the exact same thing because of electricity costs. So, you know, look, ultimately, it's all coming back. Nothing much to worry about, okay? Also, there's a few other things as well. Like, for example, we were supposed to have a network adjustment, difficulty adjustment, was supposed to happen in well, kind of around this week or the week after, I believe. I think it was in the next 7 days it was supposed to happen. That's going to be kind of, because we had the adjustment now, we are going to see this roll over to next month now, because Bitcoin pretty much every month has a network adjustment. A lot of people don't even know this because you don't see it. You see it like a blip. Right? You actually see it like a blip. And that's what's going on. And by the time, you know, like for example, the adjustment happens on the existing quantity of miners. And then all of a sudden, if more miners around the world decide to start mining, then it will adjust for that. Right. Also, there's a funny fact, right? The more miners, so if you reduce the number of miners, it also adjusts for that as well. And then the mining capacity will come back to normal. So it will automatically adjust algorithmically. It's part of Bitcoin's core infrastructure that was built from day one. It does that automatically. There is no manual control over that. Right. So, you know, now we're mining what, 700? I can assure you by tomorrow, it's probably going to be mining 900 again. It just does that automatically. There's no human control, right? The more power you're going to put on it, it doesn't make any difference, right? So there's a lot of things, other things going on. Also, I mentioned recently about Gary Gensler, right? The chief of the SEC, right? I mean, he's a Bitcoin bull. He's a Bitcoin bull. Again, I don't have to talk about it. I think when I release the Michael Saylor loss video, you will actually see what he talks about it, because it's a look, end of the day, a guy like me, a normal guy like me, I'm not a how would I say this, I'm not a technical analysis. This is quite funny. I do TA, but I'm not a technical, I'm a data analyst. I use data. For me, key is data, facts, data. That's what I look at. And when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it as a bigger picture. Doing technical analysis is very easy. I mean, I made a video yesterday for TradingView technical analysis, and it's very easy. That's, you know, simple maths. You can do it. You can even have it on auto. That's not the biggest thing here, right? Doing the data analysis, that's the more important thing, right? So understanding data, right? So let's go into a little bit of data, or let's leave the market. Let's have a look at what the data is showing us. So for right now, we can see we're at 1.98 trillion. Okay, 1.9 trillion. Okay, just call it 1.9 trillion. Just by looking at this, we can see we've lost approximately just over $200 billion, right? So we can see we've lost $200 billion from the market. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's just here, right? 196 it's showing actually. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on, but the point is we've got almost over 200 billion gone from the market. Okay, and that's that. All right, we've lost, well, currently we're sitting at 11%. We're holding at 54,000. Also, I'll show you a particular chart. I probably had it on my thing. This chart, a lot of my viewers, they know, in fact, some of the group members, they also have a picture of this, and I've told them to save this. These lines have never changed, and I'll get back to this in a second, right? So let's go back to here and see what's going on in the market, right? The other thing we need to look at is dominance, right? Now, as of last night, just before the crash, Bitcoin dominance did drop, but the dominance is back now, okay? I have to say the dominance is up by 1%, which is quite good, all right? So far, everything's looking good. As you can see, the market cap wasn't really impacted that bad. We did briefly go below the 1 trillion, but got bought up again. And I want to talk about this as well. I've mentioned it on many of my recent videos. That you have to understand who's investing right now. Is it your average retail Joe? It's not. So whoever's invested right now, they've invested to protect their asset from the dollar collapse. So you think they're going to let Bitcoin collapse? I doubt it, right? That's what I was saying. So this is actually very good. Also, there are some other data and kind of inside news coming out as well. So, you know, if somebody listens to this, they might change the news. But up to now, I can tell you what the news is. The biggest institution, banks, corporations, businesses, big billionaires, right? They're all sharing this information. And the information is they are expecting a $250,000 BTC by the end of this year, okay, and a $288,000 Bitcoin by 2024. And the number that I'm giving to you is an average. So they're saying from 2021 to 2024, the average has to be $288,000, right? With it peaking around this year, and then obviously taking a bit of a dump and then coming back to create the average. That's a big number if you look at it. I mean, we're just sitting on $50,000-$60,000, and they are predicting, they're telling their investors that that's the number they're expecting. You won't find this on the news because a lot of the news obviously are fed information, right? Whatever information they're given is what they're going to talk about. Like, for example, the China stuff, only a few people have been picking it up. Most of the people don't have it. I checked on Decrypt. I checked on Cointelegraph. Nope, none of this China issue. But when you start digging around, then you find other people actually familiarizing with the situation because they're looking for the bigger picture, which is exactly what you need to do. So currently, of course, the market is bloody, very bloody, right? And talking about Dogecoin, I mean, a lot of people have picked it up and pushed it back up. You can see we've just had another 3 or 4 billion being pumped into this. Again, you've got a lot of YouTubers and this and that pumping all of these shit coins. There's no fundamentals to it. So I would suggest to everybody, guys, be careful. If you're in it, then you know, just get out of it, sell it and get out of it, or stick around. It doesn't matter. But the point is if you're not in it, please don't FOMO in, don't buy these kind of stuff. You know, there was a video somebody launched, somebody actually shared yesterday, and I actually found it very informative. I do watch Charles Hoskinson's channel, but I haven't in the last few days, and what came out was very good. I love the fact that somebody shared that, you know, even Charles Hoskinson, what he mentioned, right? He's mentioning Cardano, Polkadot, you know, Litecoin, not Litecoin, sorry, Avalanche, and a few other bits. What he's explaining is, think about it. There's a team behind it. There are people who will protect the network, who will work on the network, upgrade the network. Dogecoin has nobody. There's no one there, right? It was a joke. It is a joke. It has nothing there. It's an infinite supply. You know, when you look at this, this is how you know. Infinite supply. Look, infinite supply. Look, infinite supply. Anything with infinite supply will have nothing there. Anything with fixed supply, you will see this is fixed supply, fixed supply, fixed supply, right? That's what you have to understand, right? What the fixed supply is and what the infinite supply is, right? So there are a lot of coins out there with infinite supply. Those are the ones I would be worried about. Okay, obviously Ethereum's one of them, but Ethereum is doing some changes, which kind of changes the structure, which is why, you know, Ethereum's doing quite good. And also you got to remember, Ethereum is an early, like one of the first coins with the infinite supply, because it's come in so early and it has so much adoption. I mean, you've got pretty much currently, so we're losing a whole bunch of crypto. So you can see recently I mentioned on the video, we had 9,600 cryptocurrencies. Now we've got 9,267. Again, about approximately 350 of them just got kicked out, right? That's what happens. They get kicked out for a reason, because they have no value and they're scams, right? Anything apart from Bitcoin, and I can also add Ethereum right now, also Binance, maybe Cardano, Polkadot, and a few other blockchains. So there are a handful of blockchains amongst all of this noise, right? There's about, in total, I think there's about 200, 300, maybe even 400 blockchains. Some of them are forks of the other, but those blockchains have a better chance to survive than any shitcoin written on a smart contract on Ethereum. That's what I'm trying to say. Majority of this 9,200 are actually just smart contracts. So you got to be really, really careful what you're putting your money down. Of course, there are some smart contracts that are very good. Like for example, Uniswap is a smart contract, very good. Cardano launched as a smart contract, for God's sake. It's very good, right? There's plenty of others who launched on a smart contract. Chainlink is a smart contract, but they're good. As long as they're up there, they're very good. So yeah, I mean, this is the kind of situation that's going on. You just got to understand, look out for the bigger picture, look out for the greater news in what's happening. So as you can see, it's like how would I say this? It's a chain of events. That's what I've kind of mentioned it as. This is a chain of events where there was so many things. The pump led up to the Coinbase. Then the Coinbase dumped it on the retail, which kind of hurt people's sentiment. Then you had a Dogecoin pump. God knows who pumped it, because there was billions coming in, right? It wasn't your average Joe. It was billions coming in. Clear manipulation, right? So you have that. Then you have a massive dump on that. And then you have all of these other bypassing FUD, right? Which doesn't make any... I mean, if the regulations go and take down a bank for money laundering, they didn't say we're going to take down Bitcoin. They said we're going to take down a bank. So how is that going to affect the crypto or anything? It doesn't. I'll tell you what does. When people lose money on this, as Charles Hoskinson mentioned as well, that's when the regulations are interested. Oh, retail lost money because of you. This is bad. This is bad. So this is the kind of stuff you want to understand, right? Other than that, let's go into the charts today. Let's go into the charts. So this is my old chart. You all know. I'm going to get a clean chart. Let's get a cleaner chart. Let's see if we can find anything and clean it up. Right. Okay. This looks clean enough. Okay. This looks clean enough. Let's use this chart to see what's going on. Let's get rid of some of this. We don't need any of this stuff. So, okay. We leave the two lines here. There's a big reason behind that. And I'll get to the reason in a bit and show you. This is rough, the two purple lines. Right. What I want to show you is, you see these wavy lines that I've put here, right? Let me explain what these wavy lines are, right? So we've got the exponential moving average, which is the red, orange, green, and blue line here. These are the exponential moving average. This is the 20-day moving average. This is the 50-day moving average, the 100-day, the 200-day moving average. Now you can see we were above the 20-day until yesterday, until last night. When we crashed, we briefly went below, and as you can see, we're still below the 50-day moving average. Now, in order for us to continue and to be positive, what we have to look at tonight is we have to try and close above this 50-day moving average. It's a very, very important number for us. So I just put a horizontal ray, and as you can see, even the exponential and the moving average both pretty much confluence with each other. So I'm just going to put it on the center, and that's telling me we have to be around $56,000, right? Actually, let me do one other thing, because I just noticed something here as well. This looks very, very good. Okay, so this is quite cool, and funnily it does. So if you look here, you got this massive resistance support, and if you carry on, same here. So this is where we need to above, and this is what the 50-day moving average is indicating as well, as you can see on this particular section. So if we can hold that 50-day moving average, we're solid. Of course, if we lose the 50 days, then sadly we're gonna have to look for the 100-day moving average. Right, so the moving average right now, exponential or the moving average, is a very, very important key factor, because when you have a situation like this where it's unpredictable, nature, something like this, it's a catastrophe, you don't know what's going on, you then cannot rely on any of your Fibonacci's or any of your other previous predictions. So if I just take you back into this chart here, right, you cannot rely on them. However, all the supports are there. Right, and what I want to show you is, if I bring this closer, if you look carefully, all the support lines. So these red lines are the resistance. All right, these are the prices targets we have. But on the bottom we have all of these support lines here. Support. We've got mini support here. I don't know why this one's. Oh, I see what's happened. Let me put it on 3. There you go. So you got support. Right, and some of these are actually longer supports, so you can see they do come back here, but I put it on a short term. But you got support, all of these supports, right, coming back down all the way up here. What I want to show you is something actually pretty crazy, right? So remember this area, this bull pole here, was this bull pole here, right? And I've always left it there because end of the day it is a pole and we do need to see it. What I want to show you here is I want to show you something. So if I take it from this high, I'll take it from this high first and I'll put it to where the pole started. So the pole started around here, right? If you look carefully, this particular area here is almost, right, this red arrow here, I don't know if you can see it, right? This red arrow here is pretty much on that support line. If we fall below the 100, then this is our support and actually our bull run invalidation. So this is the worst case scenario. You have to understand this, right? If we readjust it and say, okay, fine, let's just count the pole itself. When we measure the pole, and what you're going to see is basically the middle line again falls just slightly below this. So the difference is the line I drew, and you can see from any of my videos from way back in December or January, you can see that these lines are intact from there. I've had them for months. Again, it's indicating that this would be our invalidation point. So as long as we can hold these lines, and we should be okay. Now, let's look at the better news, right? So obviously we've had some bad news. That's different. So let me expand this a little bit just to show you a bigger picture here. So this particular line here, I drew this again months ago. And what you can see is before we had the invalidation, the bulls came in, right, and they supported it straight off this line. This, look, you can't make it up, right? It's straight off this line on a daily. Bulls supported it and bought it back up, right? Then we had a small slight resistance here created back in the days, and we basically pushed above that, and we're looking good. We're looking very close to this. I think we've got many hours left. I mean, what's the time now? So it's 12. We've got approximately 12 and a half hours remaining to close this candle. And if we do close it above, we should be secure. 20-day doesn't make much of a distance, a short-term thing, but I think this 50-day moving average is going to be a very, very important number for us. So if we do go there, then we can see ourselves going back up and see where we go there. Now, what I want to do is I want to stick a Fibonacci on this as well. So not only are we looking at what's happened in the market, we also want to use a Fibonacci to see what the Fibonacci is indicating, right? And in this particular scenario, I'm going to use the auto fib so you can actually see what's going on. Retracement. Yes, there we are. So we've got the Fibonacci retracement on, and what we want to see is what the auto fib levels are telling us. As you can see, the auto fib level is telling us that, wow, okay, so auto fib level is telling us we're in a good zone. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. So the auto fib levels saying that yeah, we're actually in the zone. I don't know if you can see this. Let me try and flip this over. This is interesting because I've seen this the first time actually. So this is, I literally took a deep breath. I was like, wow, okay, this is really good news. Okay, what I'm seeing here. Let me hate this. Let's find this and change this. Come on then. Okay, seems like I can't edit this, but if you look just here, you can see that we're currently in the 1618, the Fibonacci 0168 level. So we've been bought back here, and look at this beautiful thing. So, you know, remember I tell you, whenever the Fibonacci drops by 50%, it kind of invalidates. It didn't invalidate here, it was protected, right? And protected around the 786 level. So it didn't want to go into the invalidation. So immediately it was pulled back up. And now currently it's sitting in the golden zone, right? So whenever we're in the golden zone, you know what the story is, right? It's all about buy, buy, buy. Buy as many as you can. So right now, I know a lot of people are probably buying the dips. If they are, then good luck to them. So there will probably be a lot of dip buying right now. Let me also put my own fibs and see what my fibs are saying. Right. Wait for it. I'm about to do something. Boom. So what I've done, I can show you. One second, let me get it back to where the fib wanted me to be. There you go. So I've reversed it, and what you can see is even my one is indicating pretty much the same thing, but my one is doing it slightly different, because what you have to understand is the Fibonacci that we saw on the auto was doing it from this candle, and my one's doing it from this candle. But regardless, whether we put it in this candle or that candle, ultimately you can see what zone we're in, and this is what we need to look at, right? The kind of a zone we're in, and you can see I've just done it in front of you. It's in a golden zone right now. So yeah, I mean, there's good potential for it to go back up, but remember guys, it's all to do with all the hash rate and everything, all the other stuff that, you know, the situation we've had. And let me show you as well, actually, on this let's see if I can find it here. Actually, I can find it here. Let me show you something. So let me kill all of this. We don't need any of this. And we want to go on a weekly. I want to go on a weekly so I can show you something. Right, ignore all the lines for now. Right, ignore all the lines for now. Right, so what we're looking for, right, what I want to show you, actually I can't even show you here because it doesn't exist here. This is how bad it is. It doesn't exist here. I have to find another chart. Anyway, I can actually show it here. So I can show it here. So you can see back in 2017, we had a similar dip, right? We had this massive dip. But remember that time, like we were at 6K, and then from 7,300, and then we dipped down to 5,900. So it's like a 2,000. So when you look at that, it was, I think it was like 30% dump. Also, if you do the maths from here to there, it's pretty much, again, like I think it's currently we've had like a 15% dump. So it's not as severe as we had it back in the days. I mean, back in the days, whenever we had a hash rate dump like this, it was severe. So right now, as you can see, the price is holding, and the dump wasn't actually that bad. I mean, we've had bigger dumps than that, right? This is when the hash rate adjusts. We've had bigger issues. So don't worry too much about it. Everything seems to be fine. And we're still in the bull run. I wanted to show you this one. That's why I actually pre-opened it. This is really, really cool. I hate the fact that you can't see. Okay, we've got I don't know if you can see this on the video, but we've got on the 12th of March, we printed one of these yellowish green, and then we printed another one on the 9th, yellowish green, and we're about to print our next one tonight, actually. Now, this looks funny. I'll tell you this. What happened in the market today, we could potentially have tomorrow, so the one that's going to print on Monday, we could potentially have another green one. That's good. That's good. That readjusts the market. So it's not a bad deal. Whenever we come back to, if we can reverse back from a higher color, so any one of these colors, if we can reverse back before going to red, reverse back again, maybe even into the blue, we're laughing. We're laughing. I mean, you know, if the elites are thinking about a 200K, 288K coin, then this is possible. If we start moving up that way, it's not possible. Also, there's a few other things as well. There was a few other conversations I was having with someone, and one of those conversations was regarding Plan B's stock to flow, right? So, and it was quite funny because he said he was talking. So I'm talking to someone and he's saying, you know, you talking about Plan B's stock to flow model, how he predicted XYZ. I'm like, yeah. He goes, how much do you know about it? I said, quite a bit. So I explained everything about it, and he said, well, do you know his stock to flows model fails if my prediction of 100K is true? And he said some of the stuff that you said, so he's talking about me, he said some of the stuff that I've said actually will end up invalidating Plan B. And that's very big. So I'm going to definitely make another video on this if there's any request, and I'll explain a little bit more about why he said what he said. And it kind of made sense to me that pretty much, yes, everything I've said so far, even though I'm a big fan of Plan V, somehow unknowingly what I've predicted kind of invalidates. So if we don't go to Plan B's price model currently, and Plan B's model, funnily, this is funny, right? Plan B's model this year was originally for $280,000. So if we don't go to $280,000, we fail, right? If we go over it, we fail. So there's a few other things going on. You know, so right now, even Plan B is kind of worried. He's like, okay, I might have to readjust it. So there's a lot going on. So his model could potentially fail. It's an algorithmic model. It might fail. But ultimately, you know what? I'm still his fan, so it doesn't matter. But what somebody mentioned was quite crazy, because I haven't really seen that one. You know, anybody talk about that. Like, or compare and say, do you know what you've said kind of invalidates Plan B, even though you're a big fan of Plan B, and it's true, it does kind of invalidate him. Let's look at our, so I'm just going to quickly finish this off, but I want to show you the logarithmic right now and what's happened on the logarithmic. So we zoomed straight in, and if you look carefully, right, just look at the dates, right? Logarithmic has not been impacted. We're still within the zone. We haven't even dipped down below. If we had this sudden dip below down here, then we should be worried. But logarithmic just readjusted. Everything seems to be fine. Also, if you look at the investor tool, the 2-year multiplier, you should see some really good stuff data here as well. So even now, if we zoom in, right, we're below the channel. As long as we're below this red line, we're actually fine. So this is what you have to understand, because our moving average over the 2-year multiplier, which is the 750 day, I believe it is, or 730 day moving average. So when you look at that, its average is showing that we should be, the top should be at 78 and the bottom would be at 15, right? So this is over a 730 or 50 day, can't remember. Actually it's here, hold on. 730, sorry, 730. So it's showing at 730. So we're on the top side of things, right? We don't want to be here. We want to be here. We want to be here, right? I know it kind of it's crazy, right? But we want this line to either move up or we want this to be around here. This is where we are safe. So there are loads of other things you need to understand. It's not good to just pump. Sometimes market needs to reset. Now I did say I will mention what I'm about to do. And I'm not going to show you any other charts or anything like this, guys. There's no point, right? What I'm going to do, right, right now, I've mentioned this on, I think yesterday's video I said, I'm not trading. And I wasn't going to trade because of Doge and this and that, because this kind of messes with the market. So when you've got something, you know, that's worth nothing, pumping that hard and being manipulated, you've got to be really careful what kind of trades. And look at this. I didn't open any trade this week or last week. And, you know, yesterday, I think we had like $5 or $6 billion. Last night, actually liquidated one after the other. It was like 1 hour, and then the following hour, then the following hour, then the following hour. In fact, I think it's the biggest liquidation in history. Also, the hash rate thing was actually a new record as well. So, I mean, this year's been loads of record making. We've been making tons of records. But yeah, I mean, so what we've got is massive liquidation. But of course, people are going to get liquidated when you've got idiots on YouTube, Twitter going around. Oh yeah, we're going to just have a breakout. We're going to have a breakout. Everything's a breakout, right? And this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this, right? So this is a message for all the YouTubers out there. You guys should understand that the danger of putting people in a wrong kind of a trade, when you're putting all that energy, hyping up the community, getting them to go and do a long, and then they get liquidated. Do you know how much that hurts them, right? It's not good. It's not good. Do you know what every YouTuber should be doing? Is giving the facts and the reality and warning people more than anything else, right? Or at least comforting them. That's what they should be doing. So what I'm going to do is right now, I've given you the facts, and all I can say is just stay calm. Don't panic too much, because the data suggests that we're still in the bull run. If you want to call it a bull run, obviously I don't call it a bull run anymore. I think the market has stabilized. And some of these things, like for example, the China issue, that was meant to happen anyway. What I mean by that was we were supposed to have a hash rate upgrade anyway, right? The adjustment was going to happen anyway. It just happened to happen now, and it happened in a sudden way. But it's okay. It's not a problem. It's just a blip in the network. No harm done, right? Because mining power, nothing has stopped. The fees have gone up. So yeah, that's the only thing, because there's not enough miners. So obviously everything slowed down, the fees goes up. So that's that. And talking about regulations and, you know, companies money laundering and this and that. Well, if they money launder anyway, regardless whether it's crypto or not, then they're going to get done. It doesn't affect the crypto. right? So again, people need to get this thing out of their head that just because they're involved in crypto, that crypto is going to be impacted. I mean, what they're going to do, they're going to lock up the crypto, or listen, it doesn't work like that, right? Many countries have tried and many countries have failed. China has tried, failed. India has tried, failed. Currently, India, okay, check this out. Currently, India went to the news and done a news press release, right? Written press release, written statement by the finance minister that they are not banning crypto. They just want to regulate some aspects of it to protect the needy and the poor people's investments. That's all it is. So they're regulating it within their country in such a way they can't ban it. They acknowledge it. They can't ban it. Everyone's failed, right? The only thing they can do is close the gateways to enter into crypto. They can regulate those. You can't regulate crypto. What you can do is block gateways. So block the banks, block this, block exchanges, block all sorts. That's all you can do, right? Payment networks and this and that. Anybody that could basically, kneel down to you or bow down to you, you can break them and basically say, well, we're going to block you with a piece of paper, legislation or whatnot. Right. Also, to understand legislations, so passing a law isn't the law. Somebody passing a legislation to do XYZ, ban crypto, or they need to enforce it. The funny thing is, crypto is decentralized. You can't ban it. You can't enforce the law onto cryptocurrency unless it's centralized, right? So the centralized, funnily, apart from Bitcoin, who else? I think Bitcoin and Monero, if I'm correct, and there's another one as well. I forgot who else. Nobody knows who the founders are. They are decentralized. So how do you take something down who you don't know? You can't lock anyone up. You can't do anything. It's autonomous, right? How do you take that down? You can't. But however, you've got all of the other 99.9%, which are called the shitcoins. You know who the founders are. Of course, regulation and all sorts, law can go and slap them on the hand, block them, do whatnot, because they know who to go and find. This is why anonymous cryptocurrency creators are the best, number one, and decentralized are the best. Obviously, the currency has to be worth something as well. So obviously, there are plenty of other good news out there. But yeah, other than that, guys, look, listen, stay calm, don't panic. I'm holding. That's all I'm doing, because I didn't know this was going to happen. Number one, personally, didn't know this crash was going to happen. I was expecting it to go to around 57,000 for a minor little dip because of the Coinbase dump and whatnot and the Dogecoin dump. But it dumped even further. I mean, we had like one day, the dump went all the way to like 51k. So you can see it was a massive dump. But that was to do with all sorts of other issues. And then obviously that issue also kind of added to the situation of how would I say this? The idiot buyers. So you got billionaires who have money, but they have no sense. So the moment they saw the market dip, they just decided to dump whatever they could. But luckily, there were plenty of smart people out there ready to buy it. This is exactly why they bought it. So all the dumb investors who panicked, sold, lost out, and the smart investors bought up, right? So as I said, I didn't sell, so I couldn't, I had no way of knowing this, but I did know about the news and I know how the network works. So for me, I was just being calm and I was like, it's nothing. But sadly, we did dump. And I don't have any cash on hand to buy the dip or anything. So you know what, just hold. Nothing wrong with that, just hold. Pretty much the whole market should recover one way or another, I think. And another thing I want to mention, actually, just before I end the video, shitcoins. This is probably going to be the only video I'm going to say this. I'm never going to say this again. Right now, the shitcoins are the only coins that could protect the market. Let me explain how. All the shitcoins, if people start dumping it and start buying back into Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the top coins, guess what? The market will jump back as if nothing even happened. Because a lot of the money from Bitcoin and this and that, or even Bitcoin itself and Ethereum itself and Binance Coin itself, are being put into these shitcoins. All of these shitcoins are there to take your cryptocurrency, your top cryptocurrency. That's all it is. So when people realize and when people start dumping their shitcoin and coming back into the original currency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Avalon, whatever, Polkadot, you name it, whatever they come back into, they're going to start pumping again, right? So just watch out for that, because right now, I don't think I can turn around and say market's going to go up or market's going to go down. But all we can say is we got to protect this 51-day moving average. Sorry, 50-day moving average, not 51-day. So this 50-day moving average, we have to protect this, and the exponential, as you can see, is both confluence here. We need to go above this particular line, and the current marker that's showing to us is 56,000. So if we can go above the 56,000, we should be okay. You know, let's see. We've got plenty of hours left. But other than that, guys, I hope this was informative. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another one. And don't FUD. You'll be okay. Right now is a good opportunity. If you want to start buying, then you can buy, but this is no financial advice. It's up to you what you do. But don't panic, right? That's the worst thing you can do. Don't panic. We're still in the game. Adios, amigos. Take care.